Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Wrestling Uncensored. Tonight on the show, we preview WWE Survivor Series WarGames. Games of War! The Games of War. Johnny, are you ready for the Games of War?
Well, after Smackdown, yeah, because now we're all set finally. We have a full card, I guess. What, 5 matches?
Yeah, what the hell?
I guess this pretty much just depends on WarGames, right? Because I guess those 2 matches are going to be like an hour each, and the rest will just be to fill up the card, I guess.
Yeah, I guess
So
those
that's all right.
WarGames matches are going to be lengthy, right? Because a 5-match card is unusual for WWE. Usually these pay-per-views are 7 or 8. It's weird.
Right. Well, they could add matches, right? It's not impossible, but I'm expecting those matches to be really long. Usually Survivor Series matches traditionally are very long, so wouldn't be surprised to see that. But I mean, this is one fall or submission to a finish, though, if I'm not mistaken. Like, they explain the rules for this, and that it only starts when everyone's in the ring, correct? And you can only win by pinfall or submission. But I believe it's not elimination style.
It's one fall to a finish. Huh. I wasn't really paying attention to that video package. They start running these video packages, okay. I tune out. You know?
Well, it also confirmed that it's pretty much going to be with the no top on the cages. So people are expecting the old kind of WarGames for WCW. You're not going to get that.
No. You're going to be getting 2 cages around 2 rings, no roof on the cage, and one fall to a finish. It's a 10-man and 10-woman tag team brawl where eventually someone will get pinned. Cool. I don't know. What's your level of excitement for WarGames?
Well, I'd say mild, but I'm looking more forward towards the men's than the women's. Because the men's, there's experience there. They've been in this before. The women have too, but I don't know about you. I haven't seen a really good women's WarGames match. I believe in the early ones, like people said there was some good ones, but not the ones that I saw. So we'll wait and see. I'm skeptical on the women's one. I think there might be some okay moments, but I think the men, just because off experience, that they'll be the best match, I think. And they're going to do the crazier stunts, I believe.
Can I give an unpopular opinion here, John? I don't like WarGames matches. I don't really love the concept of WarGames. I know it's a classic thing that a lot of people love, but I just don't like the multi-man tag team match that really means nothing. There's nothing on the line necessarily. And I also just don't like the style of the match where everybody's kind of cluttered in there. The hell is a Trump bot? Where everybody's... You see that? What the hell was that?
He's coming back, apparently, isn't he?
Oh, my God.
2024.
I don't want to even approach that subject right now. We're talking about WarGames, not real war, which is possible. All right, let's talk about fun stuff. Or try to. Yeah, I just don't love the concept of the match. You know, it's not my style of wrestling. It's a brawly, big spot, a lot of blood style, and I'm more into the one-on-one championship style wrestling matches. You know, it's not, you know, Bret Hart never did a WarGames. You know, it's
incorrect.
It's not my style of match. I don't love the like 10-man tag all in a small space trying to kind of, you know, not enough room. There's not enough room for all of that. It gets cluttered, and guys are selling for way too long. It loses a lot of logic. And you'll see tomorrow night, you'll be like, why is he down for that long? What happened to him? You know? I don't love it. I don't love this style. And because you're stuck in the cage, when you're selling for a long period of time, it's kind of unusual, you know, but you have to do it because you're waiting for your spot. You can't roll out of the ring and kind of hide. You're right there in the ring because you're stuck in the cage. I don't know. I don't love it. I'm not a War Games fan, and I think maybe that's what's hurting my appreciation for this. I think a lot of people are hyped for Survivor Series just based off the strength of it's War Games. I like saying War Games. War Games! I like that. That's fun. But that's the most fun I have with it. I'm not a huge fan of the match. I like a Royal Rumble. I like a Money in the Bank. You know? Like, there are gimmick matches I like. War Games is not my favorite. I like a King of the Ring. You know? That's not a gimmick match, but you understand. I like a Hell in a Cell, even like a one-on-one Hell in a Cell. That's good. Sometimes. Depends who's in it, but, you know. I like that concept. The War Games, it's like, I don't get hyped for War Games. I've seen War Games matches, and they've been all right, but I've never been as excited as I feel like the rest of the wrestling community is for it, you know? Like, when these big War Games matches happen, I watch them too, and I'm like, yeah, that was cool. And other people are losing their minds. It's just me. Wrestling is an art form, you know? It's a matter of preference. I don't really like that War Game style.
Like, I can understand given the story put into this because it just feels like, well, it's whoever's against the bloodline right now, they're in a match, and that's what's going to be the War Games match, where this is usually supposed to be the end of a big, long-time feud between two big factions.
Yeah.
Or at least a faction and a group of faces, whatever, that long-time feud, whatever. This
Settle
just
a
feels
score,
like...
right? Settle a long-time score, yeah.
This just feels like, well, this is what we have right now. It's not even the top talent, in a sense, against the bloodline. It's just what we have right now to go against the bloodline for this event, and that's it. So I can understand that. With the women's one, though, I think that's really the best they could pretty much offer. Besides if maybe they could throw in Ronda in there, but Ronda's got another story going on. But I think besides that, they pretty much have all the top women's wrestlers that they have on the roster going right now. So,
well, that are currently wrestling.
That they currently showcase right now. That's the best they have right now. So they're the best ones in the match, and they do have somewhat of a story, pretty much, or they made it into a story for everyone. So Becky makes sense in the end.
How does Becky make sense against any of these people that she's facing? So Becky Lynch showed up tonight. She returned after an injury. She's going to be on Team Bianca. Is it called Team Bianca anymore, or is Becky now, it's Team Becky? Or does it even have a team? Right?
Well, I think Bianca's the team captain, so I believe
used to be
Team
captains.
Bianca, no?
Yeah, maybe it's Bianca. But I feel like Becky has taken over. Becky is the final member of Team Bianca. Bianca, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Yim, and Becky Lynch is the team. Taking on the team of Damage Control, Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and they have Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley with them. Now, Rhea Ripley's a heel. She's with Judgment Day. She was just thrown in there because they needed another woman. Like, she has nothing to do with any of these people. Right? Nothing. Except for Mia Yim. And Mia Yim was just thrown in there because, right? Because Mia Yim is part of the OC now, and the Judgment Day is feuding with the OC. Finn Balor is going to wrestle AJ Styles on this card as well. Now, what does Becky Lynch have to do with any of the heels? Does she have a long-time feud with Bayley that I'm forgetting? I don't remember that.
Forgetting that they blamed the injury on Bayley because when she said she was going to be leaving, whatever, she got attacked. You didn't see her get attacked, but they said she got attacked backstage, and Damage Control took credit for that. So they're saying Damage Control is really what injured her. That's the story.
Okay. But everybody knows that's not true, right? So it's kind of like, it's kind of weak. It's kind of weak. It's not great. And what's Nikki Cross doing there? Nikki Cross, sometimes she's attacking Damage Control. Sometimes she's attacking Alexa Bliss and Asuka. But because Survivor Series is around the corner and she has to be part of the team, she's stopped attacking everybody, and now she's just part of Damage Control. You know? What is this? Like, there are elements of this that don't make sense. This isn't, like that. What did AEW call their war games when Jericho had his whole team, Blood and Guts, right? At least it made sense. It was a long time feud between two factions that were at war, right? It was Jericho's squad.
Sure.
Right? The Jericho team, whatever they were called at the time, the Inner Circle, against the Pinnacle, right? MJF and his whole team.
That was the first one, yeah. Not the last one. That was the first one.
But that one made sense. Right? It made sense.
In terms
they were
of the
two
story,
groups.
sure, yeah.
There were two groups, and they're two groups vying for power. The thing is, after Survivor Series, none of these 5-person teams will remain intact except for the Bloodline, right? They're the only 5-person team that actually makes sense as like a group. They will remain intact. But everybody else is just kind of a mishmash of people and Triple H is in charge of WWE now, and he loves war games, so they're going to make Survivor Series war games. And they also thought that the Survivor Series concept was a little bit stale, and they were thinking about canceling the pay-per-view altogether, and this is their way to revitalize it. Put 2 rings and a couple of cages. That'll solve it. That'll solve the stale product, which, by the way, is stale. I watched the WWE this week, John.
I did too.
And I also watched the competition. Or sorry, not the competition, just another wrestling show. And the other wrestling show was pretty good. That Dynamite show was dynamite. Fantastic.
Well, let's talk
Top
about
to
Rampage,
bottom.
though. I doubt you say the same thing about Rampage, though. You saw Rampage,
Well, Rampage
right?
always sucks, John.
It doesn't always suck. And
I
it
fell
can be
asleep
better, too.
watching
Well, that's
Rampage
pretty bad.
this afternoon. It was bad.
Mid-afternoon. That's pretty bad. You fall
Yeah, I know.
asleep.
That's how bad it was. I was like, what? Who's this?
I don't think Raw was that bad this week, to be honest. I didn't feel like it dragged too much. I mean, the last hour always is tough, but I thought there was some moments where I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. It started off pretty good. I thought the last match was fine, the main event. The crowd, for whatever reason, wasn't into it, but I thought it was still a quality match.
Rhea Ripley and
Rhea
Asuka.
Right.
Yeah, no, that was all right. But, I mean, Drew McIntyre beat Baron Corbin on this show. And it took a while.
That was puzzling. I don't know why that happened.
Because they needed to fill time, and they filled it with that match. We also had Matt Riddle and his partner Elias over the Alpha Academy, which wasn't terrible. But, then Elias came in the ring once in a while, and that didn't help. What a step down for Matt Riddle, from Randy Orton to Elias.
Well, what else is he going to do? He can't wrestle Roman Reigns anymore for the title, right?
Right.
He lost the match, so you're kind of stuck in a sense. And I think him and Rollins has been overdone, so what can you really do with him besides an Elias tag team? Not much.
I guess you're right. Especially with that goofy gimmick, there's really nowhere to go with him. I don't really care what Riddle does, because nothing on Raw is compelling. There is not a single
I thought it started good.
Compelling storyline on Raw. Well, Kevin Owens is good. You're not going to get me to say anything bad about Kevin Owens. He's very talented. His promo was good, and all that talk about the Brawling Brutes and Roman Reigns. What?
He came out, he was cut for whatever reason. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he Goldberged himself on the way in.
It actually did look like it or something. I don't know, because you saw in his Titantron, he does the thing where he hits his head against turnbuckles. Did he do something like that? Because that was odd. And it's just so plainly obvious, the red mark across his head, never addressed.
I don't know. I don't know. His promo was good though. To start off Raw,
I enjoyed it.
it was good.
And to me, it kind of like you understand now the story in a sense where it's like, yeah, it's a bunch of guys that don't really mix together, but it's not about them being like friends, whatever. It's just they have a common goal. They want the bloodline to no longer be in power as much as they are now. And that's
Well,
it. Like
hang
you
on a
said, like we're
second.
not friends.
Well, yes, they are. Most of the team is
Well,
Sheamus and his small Sheamuses, right? Ridge and
they're friends,
Butch.
sure.
They're friends. And Drew McIntyre was revealed as the best man at Sheamus's wedding, so he's clearly a friend. They're good buddies. So don't try and tell me that they're not friends. All four of those guys are friends. They're all, they all talk with an accent. They're from various European countries, right? One of them's from Wales, one of them's from England, one of them's from Scotland, one of them's from Ireland. They got the whole area covered. Am I missing one of those countries? I really think they've got them all covered in that group. And then you got a Canadian, Kevin Owens. It's a Commonwealth thing. Although Ireland, I don't think is part of the thing. But nevertheless, Kevin Owens doesn't fit in at all. The Kevin Owens explanation of, I hate Roman Reigns, and, maybe there's a part of Kevin Owens that wants to save Sami Zayn from the evil clutches of the bloodline. Okay, fine. I get that, but he doesn't really fit in with the rest of the group. Don't try to sell me on, it's not really a group. They're not friends. They just hate Roman Reigns. Well, that may be true for Kevin Owens, and that's why he's with this mishmash of European dudes. But those four European dudes, they're buddies, right? I mean, Sheamus has his buddies, and then Drew McIntyre, he just fits right in. They're calling themselves the Brutes, I think. The Brawling Brutes. That's the name of the Survivor Series team. It's mostly Sheamus and friends versus the Roman and friends. But Kevin Owens has inserted himself in it because they're doing something else with Kevin and Roman and Sami. They're trying to... Something's going on there, right? You could tell something's going on there. They're planting seeds for the future, which should be good.
Well, that's it. They're just pretty much taking like a faction, but it's not big enough. So they're just adding two other guys to it and adding whatever reasons they can to make it make sense. So that's what we have pretty much. Again, not the greatest in the world, but I mean, they're against the bloodline. You and I both know they're not going to beat the bloodline. It's just, they're decent enough to make you seem that possibly they could win, but they're not going to win.
Unless they beat Sami.
Yeah, I mean, there's little things. They're not going to beat Roman, obviously. That's not
going to happen. No. I don't think they even beat the bloodline. I think Roman hits a spear on probably Kevin Owens and pins him clean to win. That's my guess. Or Butch or Ridge.
Or Butch, yeah. I was going to say
Butch or Ridge could take it too, yeah. Why sacrifice Kevin? Yeah. But I think the bloodline probably wins that match. It will be the bloodline. Solo Sikoa. His brothers, Jimmy and Jey Uso. Their cousin, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. And the honorary Uso, who's always feeling Usy, Samuel Zayn. They take on the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Ridge Holland, Butch, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens in WarGames. I've got Bloodline winning Roman Spears Butch 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it sounds about right. I think it's also the main event. Like, I think the women probably start the show, the men end the show.
It's the tribal chief. Of course
I just wonder, though, I mean...
You know what's great?
What's
Sorry,
great?
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that there's going to be a lot of plunder, obviously, in both matches. I just hope they don't overdo the plunder in the first match.
Plunder and pillaging. That's the Viking Raiders.
Well, Dusty always said plunder.
Plunder.
So, yeah.
Oh, baby, a lot of plunder in the WarGames. Yeah. Should be a lot of weaponry you're talking about? gimmicks.
I just hope they don't overdo it with the women's match, because I know they'll probably do a couple of them, but hopefully they just don't. We don't see like 5 tables like throughout the night.
Yeah, whatever. Tables are fine. I think this match could be
You
good.
overdo it.
It could be good, though, right? The men's WarGames match. Both WarGames matches could be good, but I don't expect them to be match of the year. Like, they could be quality matches. Everybody in it is talented. Everybody. In both matches, all talented wrestlers. I don't know. I'm not that hyped for it, but I think, it'll be solid. Solid B+.
Well, I think you're just not you're underestimating the quality of talent in that men's WarGames match. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Butch. Putting them in that kind of environment, what they could possibly do. Even the Usos too, in that kind of environment, what they could possibly do. And then you throw in a bunch of guys like heavyweights, Drew, Roman, who will probably at least throw people around. There's potential for a lot of great things in them. Like, I could see a lot of people loving this match.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could see people really enjoying this match. I just don't know how much, I think it'll be fine. It's just, the Bloodline wins at Survivor Series. Roman wins. They stand tall again. And, that's my problem with it. It's just kind of like, well, it doesn't prove anything. It doesn't advance much. It's just another win for the Roman team, which is fine. That's what the company's about. Yeah. It's just it's kind of boring, It's kind of stale at this point. It's just a stop on the road. It doesn't really mean anything.
Well, I think this is going to be big, actually, because I believe this is going to be a huge step towards WrestleMania. Survivor Series usually helps set up the path to WrestleMania. So I'm expecting a lot of progression in this whole Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn storyline. I think we'll have a much clearer path. I think we're going to get Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn against the Usos WrestleMania. So I think we're going to slowly go towards that direction.
Yeah, I could see that.
And possibly, you never know if, The Rock could show up or something, or a little announcement about the Rumble, who's going to be in the Rumble. It's very possible.
I doubt The Rock shows up.
I'm not saying The Rock shows up, but I'm just saying like an announcement of who's going to be in the Rumble or something like that.
Maybe The Rock will be in the Rumble and it'll be announced at Survivor Series, you're hoping? I saw that rumor that The Rock was maybe going to be at the Rumble. I don't know.
People talking.
I would wait until, if The Rock's going to be in the Royal Rumble, say, do you announce it ahead of time? Or do you have him come out at number 30? Boom, boom, boom. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. I mean, the pop, if you don't know, whoo-wee. Maybe they're having trouble selling tickets. I don't know how the tickets are selling, right? Because they're doing the Rumble in what? A big stadium again? I don't know where.
It's in Texas, no?
San Antonio?
I want to say it's in Texas.
Yeah.
Could be wrong. Or was it Texas last year?
I'll tell you in a second. Royal Rumble is going to be in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome.
So there you go.
Yeah. Last year it was in St. Louis. So maybe they're having trouble selling tickets, and if they are, that's when you announce The Rock, because that'll definitely help. But, if you got a sold-out building, there's no reason why you announce them ahead of time. I think the pop of the surprise would be gigantic. And the buzz, too.
Right.
Like, you announce him at Survivor Series, it's like, oh, so The Rock's going to be at the Rumble, he's going to win the Rumble, then he's going to face Roman at WrestleMania. So then when he does it, it's kind of like, yeah, whatever. But if he just shows up at the Rumble, it's like, oh, my God. It's Dwayne.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. But you see the point where it's like if they wanted to sell it out, that'd be the way to do it.
Of course. Of course. Yo, AJ. AJ's in the chat. Shout out to everybody watching us live here. Shout out to everybody watching us not live, however you're watching us, be it Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Join.ringsidereport.net if you want to join the YouTube membership, support the Ringside Report Network. Hit us up on Super Chat. Donate.ringsidereport.net as well to be a member. So many members. Appreciate everybody supporting the Ringside Report Network. We got a big show tomorrow night right after Survivor Series. We will be recapping and reviewing WWE Survivor Series, giving you our grade on 10 for this pay-per-view and our match of the night as well, just like we did last week for AEW's Full Gear. If you missed that, I know it was on very late because the pay-per-view went late. I'm thinking Survivor Series will not go as late as Full Gear. I'm hoping. You can check out our Full Gear post-show from last Saturday on the channel right now. And we will, of course, be on tomorrow after Survivor Series, as we are on after every WWE and AEW pay-per-view or PLE. What is it, John?
You have it right. Premium live event.
Premium live event. I knew it was PLE. I forgot what it stood for. How about that?
He'll get in time.
I was like, Poo. No, I couldn't get it. I wasn't there. Premium live event. Okay, let's get some predictions. So we got the Bloodline over the Brutes, obviously. How about the women's match? Team Bianca, Alexa, Bianca, Asuka, Mia, Becky against Team Damage. What the hell?
That sounds like a robot.
Oh, I know what happened.
What happened?
I've got one of those Amazon gimmicks.
The echoes
in the room. I don't know what it is. And when I said,
I've gone through that before.
When I said the word, when I said Bliss's first name, I think it reacted. I don't want to say.
Before.
I don't want to say it again, but that was crazy. I didn't know that it did that. Gotta turn that function off. What the hell? It's a thing to watch
what
TV.
I do now is I just unplug it now when we do this show because we've had that happen to me, so I know how you feel.
Scared the shit out of me. I was like, "What the hell is that?" It's new.
We've had weird sounds before. The post show we had weird sounds, so it's fine.
Did we?
We had just random music for whatever reason.
I don't remember that. Oh yeah, you mean me singing the Frasier song?
No, just random Christmas music. You remember that?
Oh yeah, that was good. We got good songs. Oh baby, I hear the blues. I call it. Okay, so women's match. Who do we have winning? I think baby faces, right? The heels are gonna win the men's match. I think the baby faces win the women's match. Becky Lynch is returning. Bianca's a champion.
Right.
It just makes sense.
Yeah. Well, again, because the heels are gonna win the men's, you would think the faces, especially if it's the first match too, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think the faces would win. And yeah, for the most part, except maybe a little bit of tonight, like the heels have pretty much all the over, I found. So, and they have the advantage going into it as well. So I feel like the ones who have the advantage aren't going to win. So the heels have the advantage in this one, so they won't win in this one.
Rhea Ripley did get the WarGames advantage, which means because it's one at a time, right? So two people start, one from each team, and then one person comes after every, 2 minutes, 5 minutes?
I think 5 minutes is what they said, yeah.
So a new person comes in every 5 minutes. So because Rhea Ripley beat Asuka on Raw, the heel team will get the first 2-on-1 advantage and will also get a 3-on-2 advantage, and then a 4-on-3 advantage, and then a 5-on-4 advantage for 5 minutes, right?
Right.
So that's pretty big. But they will still lose because we got the babyfaces winning. And also tonight on Smackdown, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus won the WarGames advantage for their team when they beat the Usos in the main event. Sami Zayn tried to distract the referee to help the Usos, but it wound up costing him. He got ejected from ringside, and while the referee was ejecting Sami, Kevin Owens jumped in, hit a stunner on Jey Uso, and then Sheamus hit a brogue on Jey Uso for the 1-2-3. and the win. So Sami Zayn messing up for the bloodline. And I was saying before, what I think is great is that everybody in a WarGames match was on SmackDown tonight. Every single person, even Becky Lynch returning from injury, except for the Tribal Chief, the world champion, Roman Reigns, not on the show. He'll be there tomorrow. You want to see Roman Reigns? You tune into that premium live event. He's a premium superstar. You want to see the Tribal Chief? You got to watch Survivor Series. I thought that was a nice touch. You know, you got Ronda Rousey on the show. You got Becky Lynch coming back. Kevin Owens is there from Raw. And, Roman Reigns is not going to show up. No reason. Not bad. Good for him.
I expect the same in Montreal when they do the SmackDown Elimination Chamber back-to-back nights. You probably get Roman at the Chamber, but you probably won't get him on SmackDown.
Well, they were in Providence, Rhode Island tonight, Boston tomorrow. It's not back-to-back Boston for Survivor Series. Like Montreal is going to get, in February, they're going to get SmackDown on Friday, and then the Saturday night will be Elimination Chamber, but it's not the case with Survivor Series in Boston. But same concept.
Not that far. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And again, like it's back-to-back nights in a sense. It's like they don't want to overdo Roman Reigns, and that makes sense. Like he's too great.
Yeah, and in small doses, he's even better. So I think it's good. I'm thinking about Roman Reigns while watching this SmackDown show that I realized is that he's not a caricature of a human being like so many of these people are. LA Knight, this guy cutting a promo, I mean, I see what he's trying to do there, but it's just so over-the-top ridiculous with his little catchphrases and his and his whatever thing that he's doing. None of these people seem real. You know, Bray Wyatt and his whole deal. I don't know. A lot of these promos just seem so inauthentic. That's why Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are so good, because they seem like real human beings. The Usos, too. You know? They seem like real humans. When you come off like a real human, your character in wrestling works better, and the promos are easier to do, I think. Because you're not coming from a place of, you know, in humanity. Humans understand what it is to be a human. They don't understand what it is to be some sort of demon from the great beyond or whatever the hell LA Knight is. What do you think about LA Knight? Do you like his promos? Do you like this gimmick? I could see people really liking it, but I don't know, man. Like, there are parts of it where I'm like, oh, he's got something there. Like, he's clearly got something. He's in good shape. He's a decent wrestler. He can talk. But the stuff he says, I'm just like, okay, dude. All right. Those little catchphrases and the hey, you know, like the overconfident stuff, the whole gimmick. It's like, he reminds me of Ken Kennedy. You know?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. In terms of the promo, yeah, I see that a lot, yeah.
Yeah. And people like Kennedy for a time. I remember a time when people were like, oh, he's going to win the Rumble. He was Money in the Bank. Remember that? He had the Money in the Bank, and people thought he was going to be the next world champion in WWE. And I remember doing this show saying, no, not this guy. This will not work. Not Kennedy. What are they thinking? And then it fizzled out, and, you know. Like, no disrespect to Ken Kennedy, but he was never the top guy in WWE. He wasn't that type of guy. And neither is LA Knight. Not that I think they're pushing him in that direction. But, I don't know. I see his promos and I think, yeah. Okay. Next. I'm not really into it. Like, he's not untalented. You know what I'm saying? I just don't really like what he's doing. Like, he's okay, but I don't like it.
Well, I take LA Knight's promo over, like, most of the roster, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the guys...
Like Ricochet or somebody, right?
He's the first thing that came to mind, honestly. Like, this doesn't have a lot of emotion when it comes to his promos, and, like, I don't think he puts a lot of thought into them whatsoever, so... great wrestler, but in terms of promo, like doesn't really need to ever talk. But LA Knight, like he's got something to say, and like you may not like how what he's saying, or like the catchphrase might not catch with you, but it's still at least he's got some energy to him.
He does have energy. And he's not stumbling, and he's saying words, and he's got little catchphrases. Like, I see what he's trying to do there. It's just not really working for me. Because he just seems, he's so, like, over the top and unbelievable. Like, I don't see where the real person is there. It's too much on the surface, and I don't see the substance. Maybe, we got to give him time. I think there's something there. Like, I don't want to criticize the guy because I do kind of like it, but I also kind of really don't like it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's like a small nugget of it that I like, but most of it I think is garbage. You just got to cut away a lot of the bullshit to get to the core, which I think there's a good part there, but I don't know. I like Santos Escobar. I like him. I like the way he carries himself. I like the way he speaks. I like his little promo. He seems like a realistic human being. He seems like a person. And his match with Butch was pretty good tonight on SmackDown. I like this guy, Santos Escobar. I like the whole vibe they have going, the Legado del Fantasma. I like this group. We'll see how far they go, but I do enjoy them. I think he's a talented guy, Escobar.
I had questions in this match because there was a moment where like Butch hit like a knee, and like Escobar kind of like sold it. He just hunched over a little bit and then fell down and then rolled out and then like died on the table. And it's like, what's going on here? like, is he okay, or is he gonna pass out or something? Like, or is like there's some sort of like supposed to go to commercial break? I think they went to commercial break, but I guess maybe it was too early or something. And then there was a spot where I think they were supposed to double hit each other with a clothesline, and they just kind of just feather touched each other and went down.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just felt timing was off in certain areas in the match. I'm not saying it was a bad match, but some things weren't exactly on point.
But I like this guy. Do you like this guy, Escobar? Like, there's something to him, right?
Oh, there's something to him, yeah. And like, I'm not saying this is like, terrible. You should be fired for this kind of stuff, but it's like, It just felt some things were a little bit off in certain areas. Like, it's not the end of the world, but it's just like, was everything okay with him? Like, was he hurt? Like, I wonder. Like, and also too, like, he hasn't had many matches on the main roster. Like, is he used to wrestling that style? I don't know.
Yeah, Butch is serious. He wrestles like a tough style, right?
Well, there's also that style to wrestle for television as well. Like, when they have to hit their spots and everything, they have to be in the right positions and everything. And maybe he's overthinking it sometimes, that he's got to be in certain positions, and then it throws you off where you're supposed to be. It could be something like that.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I think they're both really good though. I like Butch, Pete Dunne. I like Santos Escobar. Talented wrestlers. Back to Survivor Series, John. I want to get to this preview here. So we've got the WarGames matches that we talked about. Ronda Rousey's going to wrestle Shotzi. Ronda's going to defend the SmackDown Women's Championship. I mean, do I have to ask? I mean, not only is it Ronda Rousey versus Shotzi, but tonight on SmackDown, Ronda and Shayna attacked Shotzi and Raquel backstage and slammed Raquel's arm in a road case or whatever, and injured Raquel. Then we go back to broke her arm, right? Supposedly. Then we go back to the ring, and Ronda and Shayna are talking shit. And then Shotzi comes out because she's got a tag team match. It's supposed to be her and Raquel against Ronda and Shayna. So Ronda and Shayna beat on Shotzi for a while. And then Raquel comes out and tries to help, but her arm is broken, apparently. And then she takes an armbar from Ronda. And then Ronda and Shayna win. Raquel taps out, and Ronda holds the armbar a little longer. And then we go backstage, and we get a medical update from Shotzi about Raquel, who says Raquel's arm was broken in the attack backstage, and then her elbow was dislocated also in the ring with the armbar. So Raquel is injured. Just so we all know, Raquel is double injured. Okay? So she cannot help Shotzi at Survivor Series. So not only is it Shotzi versus Ronda, but Ronda also needs backup for some reason, and Shotzi's backup cannot be there because she's double injured. I mean, they are really stacking the deck against Shotzi, and they don't need to, because all you had to say was Ronda versus Shotzi. The deck is stacked. It's Ronda against Shotzi. No one believes Shotzi is going to win. Although Liv Morgan did win at one point against Ronda, so I guess anything's possible. Where's Liv Morgan? How come she's not in WarGames? Wasn't she doing that extreme gimmick where she was going through tables and doing all sorts of shit? Maybe she got hurt. She was there every week doing all sorts of stuff, right? Where is she?
Remember what happened last time we saw her? The table didn't break.
So
maybe they got rid of that. Maybe, possibly, she got hurt. Who knows? I think it's just the case where they just don't have a story for her right now. Shotzi got the shot, so it's Shotzi against Ronda instead now. So there's no spot for her.
So Ronda wins.
What?
Armbar.
Well, Ronda wins, but I mean, how good is this going to be, though? It's a huge question I have. Like, it was odd, this tag match they had, or handicap, whatever. I mean, started off as handicap, then turned to a tag. Like, they made it seem that Shotzi could take on Ronda and Shayna by herself. She had better luck against them than when she had Raquel with her. Like, once Raquel came, then it's like, oh, it all went to crap, actually. So, like, maybe she'll be fine. Just by looking at that match, she was doing fine by herself. That's the way they were kind of selling it.
Well, she's screwed tomorrow night. And I think the match will be bad. I don't expect it to be good at all. Shotzi has not impressed me.
Yeah, but Ronda's not going to go out there and just have a bad match. I mean, she's going to try her best, I think. And Ronda matches can be a lot of fun. Ronda matches can also be kind of messy.
Yeah.
But they can also be fun, so.
Yeah. Ronda likes tossing people around. Maybe she does that to Shotzi. That could be fun. But of course, Ronda will win. AJ Styles.
Yeah. One thing though, like, so you break someone's arm and you dislocate their elbow, and they'll be back like in 2 or 3 weeks, where other people are gone for months. You know, it doesn't really add up sometimes. They're injuries.
No. I don't know what
fake injuries, anyways.
It's a fake injury, John. It's not real. But yeah,
but how do you cover that up?
Raquel will come back in a couple of weeks, you assume. Or maybe not. People tend to disappear on SmackDown. You know, Lacey Evans, Liv Morgan. They just kind of come and go. They're big parts of the show, and then they're not there at all.
Charlotte, yeah.
Yeah, well, Charlotte, we're waiting here. Where is Charlotte? I'm thinking the Rumble at this point. If that. Who knows? AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. 1-on-1. This is the only men's singles match on the card. Finn versus AJ.
Crazy. That's a good match, though.
It should be good. I expect it to... I mean, it could be match of the night. Shout out Jason Pete.
I mean, wrestling
member
match.
of the team.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jason Pete checking in.
I'll agree with you in wrestling match. I think most people are going to be talking about the men's WarGames pretty much after the night's over, but in terms of wrestling, this will probably be the best match we see, I think.
Yeah. This is the match that I'm looking forward to. AJ Styles, Finn Balor, 2 top-notch professional wrestlers. Any kind of featured pay-per-view match for AJ Styles, I'm in. It's the phenomenal one. So, who do we have winning? I'm going to go with AJ Styles.
Oh, I thought we were going to go different, but no, I was going with AJ too.
Oh, there we go. We were terrible on our full gear picks. Remember that? We made all sorts of picks
Not
in full
really.
gear. Looked at
There's
the
like
betting
12
odds.
matches, and you get like 7 right. That's still pretty good, actually.
Yeah, but usually we get like we're closer to like 90 to 100% on these pay-per-views.
Yeah, but AEW, it's harder because they do that on purpose, where they have like obvious ones and then they switch it. Where, and WWE does it, but maybe once a show. Where AEW can do that a couple times a show.
They have more matches on the shows, so they can
That's it.
flip
Yeah.
more of the matches. Yep. All right, so we both have AJ Styles. So far we have picked the same winners in every match, and I think we'll continue with the final match here. Seth Freakin defending the U.S. title against Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory, and this is one of the main reasons why it is a drag to get through Raw. All of this, everything involving Austin Theory or Bobby Lashley or Seth Rollins or Mustafa Ali, I just want to skip over. And they're on a lot of Raw. And I can't care about any of these guys. They are utterly boring. They bore me to tears. All 4 of those guys. Awful. You talk about unreal personalities. What the hell is Seth Rollins? What is he doing exactly? Is he doing a Kenny Omega impression? Like, is he trying to be like heel Kenny Omega? The more I watch him, the more I think maybe he's just trying to be Kenny. He's doing like a shitty Kenny Omega impression. I don't know what this gimmick is. But you talk about a guy who can't figure out a solid gimmick. He's gone through so many different things. The architect, the this, the that. The God one that he was doing, right? He was the... What was it before this? He was the... something.
The Beast Slayer.
The Beast Slayer, yeah. No, there was another one where he was like Jesus-ish. You know, he had like a team, Buddy Murphy. He had followers. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you're right. He did.
Remember that?
I forget what it was called.
It sucked.
But yeah, that was J&J Security. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy, he just goes through so many different incarnations. And it's not like Chris Jericho where he changes and it's all like different versions of the same person and it's slightly altered and slightly changed, but it's always good. Seth, it's like wildly different characters from month to month. And none of them are ever good. And this current one is just absurd. The laughter, the maniacal whatever thing he's doing, it is terrible. And they won't stop with this guy. I don't know if he's a heel. I don't know if he's a babyface. I don't give a shit anymore. Because they haven't given me a reason to give a shit. Because they don't know if he's a heel or a babyface or not. Is Bobby Lashley the heel? I think he's the babyface. And Austin Theory, I think, is the heel. But who knows? Is Mustafa Ali a babyface? I'm not really sure. He's not even in this match, but he keeps interjecting, so he'll probably get involved. This is all garbage. Bobby Lashley is a genetic freak. A physical specimen. A monster of a man. Boring as fuck. Can't talk for shit. Just... Ugh. And Austin Theory... I don't know, man. It's awkward. It's not working. And I don't care about anything he does. All of these guys have been doing just mundane. Seth hasn't been interesting since Cody. And the rest of them have never been interesting. Well, Austin Theory was interesting when he sat with Vince. But that was only because Vince was there. No one gives a shit about Mustafa Ali. Let's be honest. Stop me when I'm telling lies.
I mean, Theory. It's tough with Theory, though. It's not easy because with Theory, like they have a reboot now with him right now, right? So it's hard. Like, can you really get behind him, or is this really the new push, or is he just gonna fade away in a couple of weeks? It's tough to really decide this. I don't think he's gonna. It's who gets pinned in this. Like I think Seth wins, but who gets pinned? That's tough. I think.
Theory?
I mean, if you're given this reboot, you've got this new attitude. I mean, you shouldn't be taking the loss. But I mean, they book Lashley so strong, right? So it's a tough situation. Like Ali should have been in this match. Just take the fall.
Maybe Ali costs Bobby the match somehow, or costs Theory the match. Whoever Ali's gonna go off and pair off with. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care, man.
I mean,
I think Seth wins, but I do not care how. I don't want to see this match. I don't think it'll be good. I don't care. And even if Seth loses, I don't care. Seth loses, so Bobby Lashley's the U.S. champion again. Ugh. Austin Theory's the U.S. champion again. No one cares. It doesn't matter.
But I think you hit the nail on the head here, where it's like Ali's going to interfere. This is typical WWE. It's like when they're in this position where they're stuck, where they don't want anyone to lose, distraction finish. We saw it all tonight, and it's going to happen in these kind of situations. So it doesn't really matter if it's Theory or Lashley because it's a distraction finish, so they're protected. So however it's going to be, Rollins will get the roll-up win or whatever.
Yep. I think it'll be curb stomp pin. Distraction, curb stomp pin. Yeah. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Survivor Series tomorrow night.
That was a quick preview. It's pretty good. Not too bad.
We interspersed a lot of stuff in there too, John. LA Knight and Bray Wyatt did promos tonight. And, Bray Wyatt's doing his thing where he's talking in the ring about how he feels. And then they cut to the big screen, and there's, like, all sorts of evil imagery and a voice talking Uncle Festus or whatever he's called.
Howdy, I think.
Whatever. It's stupid. And then LA Knight does a little interview backstage. I think he was talking about Bray Wyatt, but with all those catchphrases and the fast talking, I don't know what the hell he's really talking about. Two guys that just kind of talk a lot about nothing. They say a lot of words, but don't say a goddamn thing. No wonder Triple H likes him. That was his promo style. Whoops. I mean, stop me when I'm telling lies. So, LA Knight gets attacked backstage, right? Again. So
Yep.
Bray Wyatt says, I didn't attack LA Knight. It was he didn't say it was evil Bray. It was Uncle Howdy. He didn't say it was Uncle Howdy. He just said it wasn't him. And then obviously Uncle Howdy comes on the screen. He's like, oh, you're lying. Everybody lies. And there's snakes and shit and fast cuts of creepy things. And, Bray Wyatt images. Ugh. So then later on, LA Knight is found once again attacked backstage. Last week he was attacked backstage mysteriously, and this week he is wedged between a road case and a garage door. And they literally cut to it for like 30 to 40 seconds. They go backstage, they see this man who's been mysteriously attacked, a coworker, a friend. Mysteriously attacked, wedged between a road case and a garage door, seemingly seriously injured. They cut to it, they cut back, and Michael Cole, in the most monotone, bored voice, goes, and LA Knight, the victim of another backstage attack. Like he's commentating golf. It was just like so matter of fact, and it's exactly how I felt in the moment. Oh yeah, there's LA Knight. He got beat up by Bray Wyatt again. Big deal. Like And this is why these things don't mean anything and they don't hold any kind of weight. And this is why you can't give a shit about any of their storylines. Because the building blocks that they set up for these stories, for these big matches down the road, the building blocks are garbage. Because you cut to something for 30 seconds, no one shows any concern. No one is concerned for this man's health. He's been attacked mysteriously. He's seriously injured. Did we get a medical update on him? Did Michael Cole seem to give a shit? Did anybody care that LA Knight was attacked? Did it matter? No. There was no concern. It was just callously brushed aside. And then we go to Ricochet versus Braun Strowman. Here's Braun Strowman, everyone. And this is why no one cares, because they don't even care. They put no emphasis on it. This man has been attacked mysteriously for the second week in a row. Bray Wyatt says it's not him. There's an evil demon lurking. No one's concerned. It's just LA Knight. It's probably just Bray Wyatt up to his old tricks. He's only going to go after LA Knight. He won't go after everybody else. He's just an evil demon. No big deal. We've dealt with that before. There's no urgency. There's no concern. And this is why these stories are stupid as fuck. Because they don't even sell it. Another backstage attack. It happens around here. Part of the job. It's just maddening seeing that type of stuff and just kind of how they do it, but they do it just to do it. They don't put any emphasis on it. Anyways.
Yeah, I find, I don't know about you, but I find it's because they don't want to overdo the fact that they have medical updates, because they have that another angle going on in the same show, right? So they don't want to take away the importance of that. So this is just where it's like, well, this kind of stuff happens, and he kind of deserved it. So all well to him,
Why did he deserve it?
Well, he's a bad guy, so. And also he did he slapped him twice. So he kind of deserved it. That's, I believe, their reasoning for doing this anyways. And I've noticed too, they don't like to overdo the whole, the referees come out, security comes out. They want to make that into a big deal when they actually use it. So you'll see it sometimes where there's chaos going on. There's no refs or whatever, or they come late. I think tonight they came kind of late because they don't want to overdo doing that throughout the whole show, I think. Even though they should, because it's needed, actually.
They need a lot.
Well, they should
Both
just not
shows
overdo.
To me are they're rough, man. They're hard to watch.
I honestly didn't find SmackDown was that hard to watch this week. Was it the greatest show? No, but I didn't find it was difficult. I understood what was going on. Everything kind of made sense for the most part. Wasn't the most exciting show in the world, but wasn't expecting the greatest show when it's the night right before the big premium live event.
No, but when AEW delivers a Dynamite like they did on Wednesday, I don't know how you felt about Dynamite this week, but I just thought it was so good. It was a perfect wrestling show. It was great, top to bottom.
I wouldn't say it was perfect.
I know it was damn near perfect. It was a very enjoyable 2 hours of wrestling where I walked away at 10 o'clock after watching the show live, which I very rarely do with wrestling because it's hard to do. But I sat down at 8 o'clock ready to go for Dynamite. And at 10, when it was over, I was very satisfied. I'd seen a great main event. I'd seen a great opening promo and a lot of good stuff in between. And WWE is not delivering a program that's close right now, which is disappointing. I thought Triple H taking over might kind of shake things up a bit, but the way he's shaking things up is repackaging the Viking Raiders and calling Sarah Logan Valhalla after he rehired her and having them squash Hit Row tonight, which, Hit Row getting squashed makes sense to me, but I like the Viking Raiders and it's all good, but it doesn't excite me. I don't think it excites anyone. I feel like AEW is a more exciting wrestling show. I think they have bigger issues. They have faults, obviously. But WWE is such a well-oiled machine that it just feels overly produced and quite stale these days. And it is hard to get excited for this Survivor Series pay-per-view because the TV leading up to it has not been riveting. Far from it. Like, Becky Lynch came back. That was the rumor. We kind of knew it. She came back. People were mildly excited, but not really. And I was like, all right.
I think some people were disappointed, to be honest.
Yeah, they wanted Sasha Banks.
Right.
So there you go. You know, like WWE, when they do things, it's like, yeah, 50%. 5 on 10. They can't hit those high marks. They're not getting you to that point where you go, oh my God. It's too bad. I wish they could.
Oh, I think they will. Like,
it's not that
I
inspiring.
wouldn't worry.
I don't know, man.
Survivor Series starts like WrestleMania season. And like, if we're going to get The Rock and Roman, and we're probably going to have like Steve Austin coming back as well, like WWE is going to be fine. I'm not worried at all. Like, you're going to have night 1 main evented by Austin, night 2 main evented with The Rock. I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
I think one could argue that if you have night 1 main evented by Steve Austin and night 2 main evented by The Rock in 2023, you have gone wrong. Something's gone horribly wrong.
Well, no, you really need that, like, the passing of the torch, because that hasn't really happened with both guys.
Yeah, I mean, they've been trying to pass the torch. What about John Cena? He got the torch. He passed it.
No, he didn't. It wasn't a good torch pass to.
I don't know about that. The Rock coming back to wrestle Roman Reigns at this point, like, it's cool, but it doesn't get me excited because it's so obvious. Do it already. Get it over with. Can we move on? I just want to be done with it. I want them to do it so we can be done with it. It's an obvious story. It'll be fine as they do it, but, you know, it doesn't hype me up. And Stone Cold coming back to wrestle another match. I mean, it depends who the opponent is. If it's John Cena, it's kind of cool. If it's CM Punk, that's really cool. But I don't know. I think it'd be more likely Cena than Punk. I don't think they get Punk for Mania. I really don't know who Austin could wrestle that would make sense. I don't know. Going back to The Rock and Stone Cold at this stage in the game, you would think that they would have built people to be close to that level to main event, but they have not. Shout out to Harold Schneider dropping a super chat. Harold says, keep it up. Thank you, Harold. We will. Appreciate you, member of the team. Go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, I think Roman's on his way. I wouldn't worry about that. I think Roman's going to be a top star. Like, when he's done, like, he'll be one of the greatest stars of all time. No question.
Sure, he's one main eventer that they've made in the past 10 years. You remember Austin?
Hopefully, right.
Austin,
I remember
Rock,
Austin.
Taker, Triple H, Mankind. All those guys were main eventers. Still main eventers. If they came out, you know?
Right.
There's a lot of main eventers at one time back then. Now there's only one legit guy. It's Roman Reigns. And Jason Pete is right. Rock and Austin have name value, but what they do in the ring at this point is not great. He's not wrong. AEW has it's a different style. They've got MJF. They've got the hottest talent in the game as their world champion.
He wasn't on the show, though, this week.
Didn't need him. Give him a break.
Well, he was filming a movie. It wasn't giving him
Oh,
a
okay.
break. He's doing that Von Erich movie.
Oh, right. He's in the Von Erich movie, which sounds cool. I look forward to that. Just sticking with, we'll go to AEW in a second. Santos Escobar beat Butch tonight to advance to the SmackDown World Cup Finals, and Rick O'Shea beat Braun Strowman. He got a crucifix pin after Strowman was distracted by Imperium. So Ricochet advances to the World Cup Finals. Imperium attacked Braun after the match. Ricochet tried to make the save, but he got beat up, and then Braun eventually got up and clotheslined the two Imperium goons while Gunther escaped. And then Braun and Ricochet kind of shook hands and made peace after the match. But Ricochet wins, so it'll be Ricochet versus Santos Escobar in the World Cup Finals, with the winner getting a shot at Gunther. So I guess it'll be Ricochet winning, who was our first pick, but then there was all that Gunther-Braun Strowman stuff that we thought maybe Braun would get the win. But I guess they'll do Braun and Gunther after Gunther disposes of Ricochet, which is all right.
Well, because the way it's going to line up, like, it's probably going to be on, like, the last SmackDown of the year, right? It's probably going to be on Christmas Eve or something.
Okay.
Is when they're probably going to have that match. I'm just taking a wild guess in terms of how this would all end up in the end. But usually they do a big match on those taped SmackDowns, right? So people actually watch. So I can see that match going down. They've done that match like at least 2 times already, so I can see that being on a taped SmackDown.
We're going to wait that long for Gunther and Ricochet? Like, I would do the Gunther and Braun Strowman on that taped SmackDown to really get people to watch. Because
I'd say you save that for New Year's, to be honest, next year.
Maybe. We've got SmackDown next week, where I would assume they do the finals.
Right.
And then they'd still have 2 weeks of SmackDown, the 9th and the 16th, where they do what? Build? I don't know.
Yeah, build. Tag matches, whatever. He wrestles the other 2 guys.
I think you get it over with. You do the match on the 9th, Gunther and Ricochet, and then on the 23rd of December. It's not Christmas Eve, by the way, John. It's the 23rd. It's Festivus, the Friday.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Festivus. Yes.
Yeah,
well, we can narrow our grievances.
Yeah, that's right. So it'll be Festivus, where there'll be a taped SmackDown, and I think you could do Gunther and Braun on that. Get people watching. We'll be watching. We'll be on right after for Festivus, probably. That's the
I
plan
hope
right
so.
now.
I have a lot of grievances. I have a lot of complaints about you people.
I know. We got a lot of grievances. We're going to do the feats of strength. I'm going to get the poll. I find tinsel distracting. All right. I think that's WWE. I want to talk about AEW because I like it.
Oh, wait.
No?
You forgot one thing. That whole Dom and Rhea Thanksgiving attack on Ray thing. That was very popular, apparently. Apparently, it's the most popular video WWE did this year.
Really?
Apparently, yeah. It's the most viewed, apparently.
Why?
Which is crazy, because
I don't get it.
I have no idea. I guess because Thanksgiving, no one was watching anything, so WWE put that out there on Thanksgiving, and people decided to watch it. A lot of people watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally thought it sucked, but yeah, a lot of people watched it.
Yeah, the premise is Dominic brings Rhea Ripley to Thanksgiving like it's no big deal, and Ray's like, hey, you can't come in. Like, we're at war right now. I don't like you, Dominic. You're pissing me off. And especially Rhea Ripley. She keeps attacking me. So then Dominic's like, oh, yeah. And then they beat up Ray in his own house on Thanksgiving in front of family.
Who weren't that loud. I mean, there was kids, and no one was really screaming. I was
like, they didn't care.
When does that happen?
I don't know.
But Michael Cole said that Rhea was Dom's girlfriend.
Did he say that?
He said that, yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought. That's what I've been telling you this whole time. They had sex relations. Dominic was a virgin, and his eyes are open now to the world of darkness and evil in Judgment Day. That's what happened.
Possibly. I don't know if it's going that deep, but we'll wait and see on that one. They're at least saying that they're a couple in some sort of way.
Oh, my God. Sexy. Okay. William
But
Regal.
I felt they took away Dom's heat though on Raw. Don't you find? Like he got pinned. Like they had Sheamus beat him up. Like I'm not saying Dom's a good wrestler. Like he's one of the worst wrestlers. Again, one of the worst strikes ever in wrestling. But like you took away a lot of his heat by him getting pinned there.
Yeah, but didn't you like seeing Sheamus beat him up? Sheamus
Yeah,
hits
but like
hard.
you could have built that up more. Like just to throw that away on Raw, like it was kind of pointless. Like that to me was kind of a waste. I would have pinned Priest instead. He
Give
doesn't
me
have as much heat as
Sheamus,
Dom does.
Sheamus, Dominic in a dog collar match. Let's do it.
Yeah, but build it. You just throw it away on Raw like that in a pointless kind of match. That to me was ridiculous. That's bad booking right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, but I don't know how many people were really paying attention to that match.
And
It's on
bad
Raw.
strikes, by the way. That Raw main event when they had the brawl afterwards. Like I know you like Io Sky, but her forearms are like terrible, absolutely pathetic.
Mm,
Like, did you see that when she hit Bianca like on the outside?
I
That
didn't
was
notice.
just disgraceful.
Yeah.
Disgraceful stuff. It should have never aired.
All right. Well, let's jump into the AEW Dynamite stuff. Regal's opening promo. Regal opens the show. People are mad at Regal. Says MJF isn't there. He's on a movie set. He'll be there next week. And he says that he sent an email to MJF a few weeks ago. And MJF will reveal the details of that email and their relationship and the nature of it next week on Dynamite. So we still don't know why Regal did what he did, why Regal turned his back on Moxley, but we did learn a few things here in this promo. But MJF will no doubt reveal more in his promo coming up this week on Dynamite, which is a reason to tune in on its own, just to see MJF speak and explain and see him on Dynamite for the first time as the AEW champion. I'm interested to see what MJF is like now as the AEW champion, so that'll be good. Jon Moxley came out. Bryan Danielson showed up right away to stand between Moxley and Regal to stop Moxley from killing Regal. Bryan says, I don't know why Regal did what he did, but it was a bad thing, and Regal did a really bad thing, and he's done bad things in his life, and Jon Moxley's done bad things in his life, and Bryan says, even I've done bad things in my life, and please don't hurt Regal. He's got a bad neck. He's got 2 bleeds on his brain. You could kill him. Don't hurt Regal. And Regal's just standing there, and Moxley's, seething. He's upset. He tried to push Bryan at one point, but Bryan just kind of held him and said, no, please. He begged him. Bryan, in this promo, masterful. The emotion that he showed. Upset with Regal, while at the same time wanting to protect him from Jon Moxley. Understanding Jon Moxley's anger, while at the same time trying to keep him restrained. Caught in the middle between a man that he loves, that he looks to as a father figure, and a man that he considers a brother and a teammate and a good friend in Jon Moxley. Bryan begs Moxley to back down. Begs him. Eventually, he has to slap Moxley, and then as soon as he slaps him, he's apologizing. He slaps him. I'm sorry. That was so good. Because he needed to just kind of stop him. He needed to slap some sense into him. But he also doesn't want to get into a fight with him. He doesn't want to end the relationship and the Blackpool Combat Club or whatever they have going on. Whatever it may be called now going forward, or if they are a group, the friendship at least. Real human emotion. Nuanced stories. This is what I'm talking about. This is high-level, highbrow professional wrestling. Bryan talking about how his own father dealt with the same struggles that Moxley had in the past. He didn't say alcoholism, but you kind of read between the lines. And Regal was the man that taught Bryan to love his own father and forgive his own father. So please don't hurt this man, William Regal, who's been so, he's revealing a personal story about Regal that sounds like a real story about Regal. And he's doing that to illustrate the point that, hey, look, this man, he may have done a really bad thing here and screwed you out of your belt, but he's not all bad. He's done some things for me personally that I can never turn my back on him completely because he means a lot to me personally, even though I disagree with his decision at Full Gear. And then Moxley tells Regal to run as far away as he can and never come back, which is what Scar told Simba in The Lion King, by the way. And then Regal left. My brother told me that. I didn't recognize. He's like, yeah, that's what Scar told Simba in The Lion King. And then when Simba comes back, that's what he tells Scar. Run far away, and never come back. Moxley has a young child. Maybe he's watching The Lion King, getting some inspiration. And then Regal left, and that was the end of the promo. Brilliant promo. I loved it. You know me, I'm a giant Bryan Danielson fan, so you'd expect me to love it. What did you think, John?
I really found the atmosphere is what made this promo. I mean, you had, obviously guys that could talk on the mic as well, but the atmosphere really added to this promo because, like, the crowd was on Regal from the start, saying Regal sucks, like, F you, Regal. It just sets the tone for everything what's going to happen. So then when Moxley comes out, it's like, you effed up to Regal and, like, you're going to die. Like, but then Danielson comes out, people boo him right away. You think maybe Danielson's going to be a heel now, the way it's going to be, but not really. It's kind of just like, look, like, he means a lot to me. Like, I'm not turning on you, but you have to understand people still booed anyways, but you kind of understood what Danielson was going through. Like, there was that little bit of like, oh, I'm stuck. Like, I don't want to turn on you, but I also don't want you to hurt Regal as well. So it was good. It was good emotion that, you don't see in a lot of promos that they were able to pull off. And, like, it's kind of too bad that Moxley didn't get at least to hit something, because, like, you could feel that the anger was building and there was no release, The fans didn't get that release, not until later in the night, unfortunately.
Yeah, but that tension is good to build that tension, especially to open up the show with it. I thought it was
You had a great crowd.
The crowd
helps so much with that because it adds to the whole feeling of it.
You could see Moxley's rage. Like, you could see it without him saying anything. He sold that very well. Very well. Yep. And Regal just kind of stoic, like clenching his fists, like, if you want to come at me, but I'm going to fight you too. Like, you could tell Regal was thinking, like, like he wasn't backing down from Moxley. Right? He didn't back down. But he decided to leave because Bryan wanted him to leave. And he's still, like, Regal has maybe turned his back on Moxley, but maybe he hasn't turned his back on Moxley. Maybe he just has decided that MJF is the future and they have to just be behind MJF. It's not clear why Regal is with MJF. And it's clear, at least to me it seemed, that Regal still has a soft spot for Bryan. And maybe even still has a soft spot for Moxley. I don't know if it's a complete turn. Or maybe it's just like, hey, this is MJF and we got to get behind this guy. It's still not fully clear where everybody stands, and I think that's great. You got to, see how it unfolds. And it's a real emotion. You recognize these reactions as logical and human. Perfect. Like, you understand Bryan Danielson's motivations. You get it. Why did he come out? You know, why does he not want Regal to be attacked despite turning his back on the whole group? You get it. It all made sense. It was a great way to open up a show. It was great. All three guys delivered an A1 performance, but Bryan Danielson did the bulk of the talking, so got to give it to him. He's the man. Best wrestler in the world today. One of the greatest of all time.
Well, I say again, you got to credit the crowd because, like, to me, that's a huge difference. What you see on Raw, like where a lot of the lines don't hit because the crowd's just dead and they don't seem to react. Not to say that a lot of the scripts are that good, but still, like when there's no reaction, when they're clearly reaching for a reaction, it doesn't work. Where this, like, they went for it and they got everything from it. But maybe because they don't rely too much on the verbiage, it's more about how they react.
Great reactions from the crowd.
Yeah.
We could skip ahead a little bit and talk about what happened when the Elite came out, which was the best crowd reaction of the night.
You're right. You're kind of jumping ahead. Yeah. It wasn't next.
No. I'm jumping ahead, but, this was the big story of the night, I think. Other than the opening promo, it was the Elite. And the Jericho match. The Jericho match was pretty damn good. But the Bucks and Kenny come out. They're in Chicago, home of CM Punk, and they get booed out of the building. And this is a place where the Bucks and Kenny have been welcomed with open arms, right? The fans in Chicago usually love these guys, but of course CM Punk is not around, and there was the whole backstage brawl, and if you're on Team CM Punk, you're definitely not on Team Elite. I'm on Team Everybody, all right? I want us all to get along so we can have the best pro wrestling show possible. Get the Elite, get Punk, get Kenny versus Punk. That is what I wish, but we'll see. Too many wrestling fans taking sides. Taking sides with people you don't even know. You know what I mean? And a lot of these wrestling fans are like, oh, the Elite fans, they're like this. And then there's all these other fans like, oh, CM Punk fans are da-da-da. It's like, yo, you're not actually friends with the Young Bucks. You realize this, right? Just because you're, you have like, you're like Joey the Elite 212 or whatever on Twitter, it doesn't mean you're actually in the Elite. Just because you wear their T-shirt every day and you dress like them or whatever, it doesn't actually mean you're with them. Just because you like CM Punk doesn't mean he likes you. There's a lot of people on the internet sticking up for people that they don't know. And if they did know them, they might not even like them. You just like how they are on TV. A lot of people are not the same on TV as they are in real life. But people, the way I like them all because I find them all interesting on TV. I don't know any of them, so I don't really take sides. And there's a lot of people that don't know them either, but take sides and are like furious, It's odd. That's an odd part to me. Taking sides of celebrities and like firmly being in one camp. Bizarre. Anyhow.
I mean, it always happens. I'm not surprised by this. I mean, that's fan bases. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, but I think we should debunk the whole thing that you and Matt Hardy are feuding. That's not actually happening. I know AJ said that last night, but
why would I be feuding with Matt Hardy? I love Matt Hardy. I think he loves me too.
I think AJ said last night that you guys you have some beef or something. Yeah, I think he said you had beef with Matt Hardy, which is not the case.
No.
It's just you replied to one of his tweets.
Yeah.
And that was it, pretty much.
I just said, well, Matt, I don't think... Because Matt Hardy said, oh, Kenny and the Bucks are like Shawn Michaels in Canada, right? Kenny and the Bucks in Chicago were on TV. And then he's like, is this like HBK in Canada? And then I just tweeted to Matt Hardy. I was like, I don't know. In 2005, Shawn Michaels was still getting booed out of the building in Montreal. That was 8 years after the screw job. I'd be surprised if the Bucks and Kenny were still booed in Chicago in the year 2030. I mean...
Right.
That was my only comment to Matt Hardy. I was like, I don't think so, Matt Hardy. I think because, man, the hatred for Shawn Michaels ran deep and ran for years, you know? People still have bad feelings for Shawn Michaels. Case in point, Johnny North still holds a grudge. Even though Brett forgave him and hugged him on Raw, Johnny North is still mad.
Well,
You're
I don't
not the
forgive
only
him
one.
for being a jerk to other people. You know, he still was a jerk and ruined people's lives.
Yeah.
Not just Brett.
No, you're right.
It's
And
not-
apparently still a jerk to the FTR, right?
Yeah, apparently, you know,
Yeah.
like some people don't change. You know, they say they do, but they don't. But whatever about Shawn. Like,
Yeah,
screw
whatever.
Shawn.
Let's not talk about Shawn Michaels right now. But yeah, AJ, I guess, did say I was feuding with Matt Hardy.
It did become a news story because people ran with it. I guess Sportskeeda ran with it, right, as a news story. That
Yeah, they took my tweet and basically wrote a story about it, right?
Exactly, yeah. Which is hilarious. So you could just write a tweet to a wrestler and it becomes a news item, pretty much.
Hey, that's the kind of weight I carry in the pro wrestling world, John. Okay, one tweet and it becomes a story. I tweet to Matt Hardy, wrestling news sites are picking it up. It's a big deal. Oh, Dave Simon, he's talking to Matt Hardy. Oh my God, is there heat? Me and Matt are cool. You know?
Yeah, I don't believe there was any animosity whatsoever.
No. Yeah, it was cool though. They wrote a story about the thing that I tweeted to Matt Hardy. I thought that was kind of funny. Anyways, the fans were booing the Bucks and Kenny. They came out with their cool entrance again. Some fans at one point were chanting CM Punk at Matt Jackson outside the ring, and Matt Jackson was like crotch chopping them. That was pretty good. But then at one point, the fans were also chanting "fuck CM Punk" when they were entertained by the match. Like they were watching the Elite and the Death Triangle tear it up, and eventually they're like, "Oh, these guys are so good. Fuck CM Punk." A few people were chanting "fuck CM Punk," and you could hear it quite well on TV.
Well, you could see on
loud.
TV too, because I watched the edited and unedited versions. Because when I saw it on TSN, they had edited most of the chants because obviously they can't use the F word on TSN, right? So,
well, you got to watch it
but
live.
Then, you know,
I saw it on TSN, but it was live. No, I don't know. I heard it.
Well, I found a version on YouTube which was uncensored, so I heard all this stuff. There was a dueling FCM Punk F the Elite chant at one point, and it looked like it was from like the left and right side section, like we're doing with each other. It looked like on the hard cam, and then there was like in the front row, there was a section that was chanting like "Ole," I guess for the Lucha Brothers.
Right.
That kind of caught on a little bit too as well. A lot of energy, which was, it helped make the match, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And then a lot of ridiculousness happened in the match, which I think people talked about the most.
Kenny biting Pac's arm.
That's one moment, yes.
Kenny hitting the go to sleep on Pac for a 2 count. CM Punk's finish.
Well, he credited it to Kenta.
Oh.
But whatever.
But, yeah. I mean, everybody knows what's going on there.
Right.
Eventually, Matt gets a low blow on Pac and goes for the hammer, but Pentagon, he's got his own hammer. He hits Matt Jackson in the head, which allows Pac to get the cover. 1, 2, 3.
The spot.
What did I miss?
You missed when Matt was going for the buckshot lariat and then missed it, or just landed on his butt.
Oh, did he? I didn't notice that.
Oh, you didn't notice that part? Yeah.
No.
Happened,
He was mocking the CM Punk buckshot lariat botch.
That also happened, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, yeah.
They're alluding to it, man. A lot of people are thinking that because there were so many references to Punk that there's no way he's not coming back.
With there being so many references, like, he better come back, because, like, if he's not coming back, like, wow, that's mad hate. Especially because Kenny, like, apparently said, like, you know, people should stop, like, making this a Elite versus Punk thing, you know, just like who you want to like kind of thing. And then completely went against that in the match.
Well, did he? He was just kind of, maybe he was paying homage to CM Punk. It's harder to tell with the actions than with the words. The words he's using, you know, he's saying, oh, we're all trying to make wrestling better, and it's not the Elite versus Punk and all that stuff. He did say that, but in the action's a little bit more ambiguous. When he hits the go to sleep on Pac, like, what's he saying exactly? Is that an FU to CM Punk? When Mac Jackson botches the buckshot lariat on purpose, that might be an FU to CM Punk, but that might be a little joke. Like, like, let's not forget, the Bucks and Punk were friends at one point. Like, the whole reason why CM Punk came to... Yeah, it does feel like ages ago, but it wasn't that long ago. And one of the main reasons why CM Punk came to AEW was because he was friends with the Bucks and he believed in what they were doing. And he was saying that before he ever came to AEW. That he really liked the Bucks. So, I don't know. Hopefully, over time, cooler heads prevail and we do see CM Punk back in AEW, because Kenny Omega versus CM Punk would be the biggest match you could possibly do in pro wrestling. So.
Well, I told you, like, that would take AEW to the next level if they had that angle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Punk versus the Elite actually on television, that could be like their NWO angle pretty much.
Yeah. It could make them the number one wrestling company in the world. Possibly.
Potentially.
Close to it.
Yeah.
Close to it. Yeah. I mean, it'll take a lot. WWE's such a juggernaut, but man, it would be a hot angle. The Elite Death Triangle have another match set for Dynamite next week. Dynamite will be in Indianapolis, Indiana. And the Death Triangle now up 2-0. The Hammer, using that illegal weapon behind the referee's back, 2 matches in a row. They're up 2-0. Does the Elite win the next one?
Use it first.
Huh?
Matt Jackson was going to use it, and then they just used it before he did. Yeah.
Does the Death Triangle get the win with the Hammer again next week and go up 3-0, or do the Elite win one? What do you think? I feel like the Death Triangle might go up 3-0, and then the Elite come and win 3 in a row, and then you have the final. I don't know. Maybe not. It's hard to tell, right? I think it's going to go 7 no matter what. Maybe the Elite win the next one, and then Death Triangle go up 3-1, or Elite win the next 2, and they even it up, and then Death Triangle wins 1, then the Elite win 1, and then they do best of 7, or maybe the Elite will win the next 3. Death Triangle wins, and then they do... I don't know. There's many different combinations, John, but it's all going to end at 7. Do you have a gut feeling? Because I obviously don't. I'm just guessing.
Well, because they've used the Hammer twice, right? So I feel like, they're going to try and fail the next time around, I would think. So unless they have an answer for that, I would think it'd be 2-1. I would think the Elite would at least win the next one. But I could see 3-1. I could see that easily happen.
Yep.
But you could be right, too. It could be 3-0. I just feel like we've seen 3-0 too many times in best of sevens.
Mm-hmm.
I think Benoit and Booker went 3-0.
I think the Elite's going to win in the end, though, right?
Well, it's in LA in the end, so yeah.
Yeah. That's why I don't think they should go up 3-0, because then the Elite will just win 4 in a row. And if the Elite are winning, when they finally win the big one at the end, it doesn't seem like such a big deal because they've just won a bunch of matches. It's like, yeah, you beat them three weeks in a row. Who cares? We're over it, I think the Elite have to lose before they win. I think the last match, Game 6, they have to lose so that they can win in Game 7, Turn it around.
Interesting. That means they're going to win the next 3?
Yeah. Or the next 1.
Wow.
No, they'd have to win the next 3. Yeah, I think they'll win the next 3. Why not? What the hell? Or they get swept in 4 and, I don't know.
That'd be very surprising. I don't see that happening. But
no.
Don't they have a match at Winter is Coming too as well?
Well, technically. I mean, they've announced all the matches, right?
Well, which one is the Winter is Coming one? Is that the 4th match or the 5th match?
I think it would probably be the 5th. Yeah, it would be the 5th.
So I think it's going to be 3-1 because they'll be in jeopardy where it's like, it could end here at Winter is Coming, I can see that happening.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I think the Elite win the next one.
Orange Cassidy beat Jake Hager with a roll-up to retain the AEW All-Atlantic title.
See, here's what we're talking about. You said this is a perfect show. This match was
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous.
This was
Like,
the low
what
point.
the heck was this?
Yeah. Not good.
Like, I don't even want to go over the match because I'm just like, I can't believe this is actually happening. I feel bad for Hager. Like, I think he likes this, but like, man, is he a joke? Like,
Yeah,
they
well,
made him when he first started, like he was like, oh, he could be a contender for a championship. Now he's just the butt end of every joke right now.
yeah, he doesn't wrestle very often. He was doing that whole thing with the hat in this match. I don't know. I don't know what he is. But there's got to be a way to
Yeah,
turn it around for him. Maybe. Now, hear me out. There's a way to turn Jake Hager around and make him a useful wrestler in AEW again. Claudio Castagnoli on Rampage this afternoon was involved in a promo with Chris Jericho. Now, a match was made. A match was made at the Ring of Honor Final Battle, which is on December 10th.
right.
Where Chris Jericho will defend the Ring of Honor World Title. Claudio
We
was
doing a post show for that?
no, it's Ring of Honor. Claudio was also UFC 282. We're doing a watch along.
Oh well, yeah.
On December 10th, it's UFC 282. So we'll be on anyways for a watch along, but it won't be for Ring of Honor. So Claudio was basically saying, I know I can beat you, Jericho. I need to win. I must do it. The big one. I have to do it. Right? So he's basically begging for the match. And Jericho's like, okay, you can have the match, but... And then Daddy Magic goes, yeah, but if you lose the match, Claudio, you know, you're a pretty good pro wrestler, but I remember you also were a pretty good sports entertainer. So if you win the match, Claudio, you're champion. But if you lose, you have to join the Jericho Appreciation Society. So Claudio loses to Jericho, must join the Jericho Appreciation Society, and just accepts it and starts tagging with Jake Hager again. Because what the fuck else are these guys doing? It's a good role for both of them. It'd be a great tag team in the division. They're a very good tag team. Claudio, I think, as good as he is best suited in a tag team. He's always had his best moments in professional wrestling in a tag team. With The Bar, with Tyson Kidd, with Chris Hero. Like, he's a tag team wrestler. And I think Hager is just there. And also, I think a good group needs a good tag team representing them. And right now, Angelo and Daddy Magic, like, they're a good tag team, but they're not winning a lot of matches. You know, they're not high up on the card. But Claudio and Hager as a tag team, they'd be pretty solid on the card. They could have some good matches with FTR and the Bucks and whoever else you got in there. Lucha Brothers. They could work with everybody. So I think Claudio will lose to Jericho at that Ring of Honor show. He will be forced to join the Jericho Appreciation Society. And at this point, with William Regal joining MJF, Claudio's in that Blackpool Combat Club, but how long is that thing going to last? So why not just leave, accept Jericho's invitation, and go with it? That's what I would do.
It's a good idea. I hope they do it. I worry they might give the belt back to Claudio, but I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Jericho as the Ring of Honor champion. He's the first Ring of Honor champion I give a shit about. Right?
Right. But, you know, like, I feel like they need a distance Ring of Honor from AEW. And Jericho obviously should stay in AEW. So this might be part of the plan, is to finally get Jericho away from that.
Maybe. I don't know. I like this run. I like the Ocho. Chris Jericho over Tomohiro Ishii in the main event of Dynamite this week. Made him tap with the Lion Tamer.
You know, how many times can you do that kind of match? Because, like, wow, Jericho took a beating in that match.
That was a hard-hitting match. Jericho bleeding from chops. Now, I've seen you, John, take a lot of chops. You are a great wrestler, and you are a chop master. You hit chops, and you take chops. And I've seen you cut and bloodied from chops. But I've never seen that amount of blood from
Right.
chops on
Yeah.
anybody. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. That's a lot.
Well, Jericho's got more of a beaten up chest than me because he's taken more chops than me.
Okay.
So I think that's probably what helped it a lot.
But
And
my
plus,
God.
Ishii,
Yeah.
it's hard.
That was a hell of a match. A hell of a main event. Jericho and Ishii went out there and stole the show. Ishii taps to the Lion Tamer. Jericho retains the title. Jericho just wins clean, too. What a battle. What a battle. I mean, they just beat the shit out of each other. Jericho was hitting him hard, too. Ishii's a beast. I loved it. This was just fantastic. Great main event. And after seeing that main event, I was like, yes, how could you not be satisfied with an episode of Dynamite that ends like that? What more could you ask for? You got Jericho and Ishii in a title match, violent, excellent, high-level pro wrestling. Opens up with an excellent, high-level promo. Some good stuff in between. I really like Dynamite. I really did. That Jericho and Ishii match, obviously match of the night, match of the week. I didn't see a better wrestling match this week on regular TV. Hell, even on the pay-per-view, Full Gear last week. I don't know. Was this better than anything on Full Gear? It's pretty close.
Like, I mean, it's a different style of match. I mean, this wasn't really in terms of a wrestling classic. It was just more of a hard hitting affair between the two, which is good. It's fine in its own little way. But, in terms of wrestling, like I still thought, Tony Storm, Jamie Hayter, that was the best that we got in the past week. And I also thought on Dynamite, I thought Ricky Starks, Ethan Page, that was probably the best wrestling match I thought we saw. To me, that felt like a classic wrestling kind of match.
It was very good.
You don't usually see on AEW very much.
Yeah. I like that match too. Ricky Starks getting the win over Ethan Page. Starks coming in, selling an injury. I was a little bit surprised to see him win this. I thought it was going to be Ethan Page because Ethan Page is with Stokely Hathaway and that whole group, and they've been feuding with MJF, but Ricky Starks getting the win. So it'll be Ricky Starks who wins this tournament now and will get a title shot at MJF at the AEW Winter is Coming Dynamite on December the 14th. Ricky Starks versus MJF for the title. Ricky Starks won't win, but that's a cool match for him. Getting an AEW title shot. It'll be his first one, I think.
Pretty sure, yeah.
That's big.
He may have faced the champion, but I don't think he's actually gotten a title shot before.
Yeah. He gets a title shot, he wins a big tournament, and the match was great. I like Ricky Starks a lot. Very talented. Ethan Page was impressive in this one, too. See, again, John, another solid match. Very solid.
Okay. What about that three-way women's tag, though?
Yeah, that was not as good. You could almost say it was bad.
Well, it was different. I mean, like there were some elements to it where I was like, it's kind of interesting. You saw like the Jericho Appreciation Society against Hayter and Britt Baker. It's like we never really see that, and it felt like a good chunk of that match was that. So I didn't mind that, but it felt like this wasn't a match for like in terms of feuding or whatever. It's just like, well, we have a bunch of people we want to put on the show. Let's just put them all in this one match together. And three-way tags can be abysmal because they don't really make a lot of sense. There's a bunch of tagging in and out, and the worst part about this match was it just ended. It wasn't really much of a build. They just won.
Yeah, Baker hits the stomp on Sky Blue. Yeah. Any match with Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale and Ty Mello and Anna Jay even, it's like, all right, what's going to happen here? Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter get the win. Jamie Hayter, by the way, AEW Women's Champion, no longer interim. Thunder Rosa has vacated the AEW Women's Championship because she's hurt and not coming back anytime soon. So, Jamie Hayter, the official champion. She was asked about it on the stage before she went out for her match. Britt Baker took the microphone and told everybody how Jamie Hayter felt, so obviously sowing some seeds there for Britt versus Jamie down the road, right? Seems like it's what's happening. Britt the heel,
Should
Jamie
be
the
a
babyface.
pay-per-view.
Next pay-per-view, yeah, you think?
If not Revolution, Double or Nothing. I can see Double or Nothing.
Mm-hmm. What else happened on Dynamite? Jade Cargill had that run-in with Lil Bow Wow.
Doesn't look so little anymore. Looks like he grew up.
I mean, he's still kind of small. And then Jade fired Kira Hogan from being in the baddies for some reason. I'm not sure.
Too many of them. That's why.
I guess.
Red Velvet came back.
Okay, that's why. Red Velvet is back, so Kira Hogan has been fired. And then there's the other one. I don't know who she is.
Layla Gray.
All right. Look at you knowing the names of people.
You gotta watch Dark and Dark Elevation.
No, I don't.
Buddy Jeremy Prophet was on there. So
yeah, I mean, I'll watch Jeremy, but I'm not watching anybody else. What are you trying to do? Waste my time? I got Frasier reruns to watch, man. What are you doing? Trying to watch Frasier over here. Fantastic. Oh, man. Next week, Jade Cargill is going to have a baddie celebration in the ring. What the hell does that mean? I mean, I hope it means what I think it means. Sounds like a good time. I think it'll just be a weird promo, though. So that'll happen.
Probably more Bow Wow, I think. They're going to push that like crazy. You know that.
Well, what the hell is that, though? What does that lead to? Jade Cargill versus Lil Bow Wow in a match? Like, what's the point?
Or like a representation match kind of thing. You know, he'll get someone to represent him to face Jade Cargill, possibly.
Okay. The Acclaimed cut an in-ring promo this week. They were interrupted by Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Jeff Jarrett. And when Jeff Jarrett started talking, the fans in Chicago chanted, TNA sucks. That was funny. Just voicing their displeasure with Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, Wardlow wants to go after Samoa Joe. He wants his TNT title back. QT Marshall and the Nightmare Factory showed up to go after Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends after Orange beat Hager this week. The lights go out. Julia Hart was on the stage, and the House of Black showed up in the ring behind Orange and Rocky Romero and the Best Friends. House of Black took Orange and the Friends out, and then they also beat up on the Nightmare Factory, QT, and all his goons. And there were some jobber guys and security that the Nightmare Factory took out. This was the return, sorry, not the Nightmare Factory, the House of Black. This was the return of the House of Black on TV. They've been doing little promos, but this was their kind of in-ring return in the arena. They didn't have a match. They just beat up a bunch of people. And then Malachi Black says, members of the House of Black, please rise. So I guess they're baby faces, right? The members of the House of Black are the crowd. And then the lights went out, and they were gone. Poof. Like they were never there. So they're back. They all look jacked, by the way. Buddy Murphy, Aleister Black, and even Brody King looked more jacked. Especially Aleister Black. Like, he looked especially jacked. So he's taking some time off. Looks like he's been hitting the gym. Looks great. They all looked in top shape. They're all talented wrestlers. I'm not a huge fan of the gimmick, but I support them. I like them. We'll see what they do. I guess the next stop is feuding with the Nightmare Factory for them? I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know. That could go in many different directions, but I think it's just a good example of sometimes like you just need to go away for a little bit and then people kind of want you to come back. It's kind of like the whole thing with Becky in a sense, where people wanted to come back and they finally got it. The Not the greatest reaction in the world, but a decent reaction. Could have been worse, to be honest. I thought it was going to be booing. So, but yeah, with House of Black, people wanted to see them come back. Like, if anything, they're more over now than they were before.
Yeah. Well, at one point you thought Malachi Black was going to leave AEW, right? So it's cool to see him back.
Something, I don't know. Like, I don't know if he was actually leaving, but to me, I think it was just injuries. Like, that's what it seemed like to me.
Well, he looks good now. Good to see him back on Rampage this afternoon. Did you catch Rampage this afternoon, John?
I did catch Rampage at 4 p.m. because, Black Friday, right? So everything started at 2 p.m. So you had to be ready for everything. I'm poor now, but it's fine. I'll survive.
The sales started at 2 p.m.?
Well, the sales, the hockey games,
I thought the sales started. The sales started in the morning. No, I was seeing Black Friday deals all week.
Well, when I got home and was able to actually do stuff,
I see.
Actually, yeah. For me,
there were
it started
hockey games
at 2
too. I know there were soccer games. I was watching a little soccer. I was actually watching it early this morning. I was watching Iran beat Wales, which was surprising, and then USA.
That's the game.
Going to a draw with England. I caught some of that this afternoon as well. But I was up for the early game, John, the 5 a.m. game. I was up around 5 a.m., so I watched a little soccer with my morning coffee. Watched the Iran-Wales game, and then this afternoon I was able to catch some USA and England. And, that was a surprising one. England not able to put one in the net, and USA walks away with a big draw. Big draw for them. Surprising. A lot of surprising results at the World Cup so far, right? Japan beating Germany. That was a shocker. Saudi Arabia beating Argentina. Another shocker. And we may have a shocker in the PFL. Kayla Harrison, who was a massive favorite going into her fight, they are going to decision, and Larissa Pacheco may have pulled off a gigantic upset here. They're going to decision, and Pacheco thinks that she's won it. But yeah, the World Cup has been World Cup's been very interesting. Kayla Harrison came into this fight minus 800 the favorite, Pacheco plus 550 the underdog. And when it ended, the live betting was a pick'em fight. And Pacheco thinks she's won, and Kayla Harrison doesn't look too happy.
Pacheco didn't end well to her.
Pacheco has a guy in her corner that looks like Taz. Do you see that guy?
I didn't see him yet, no.
Okay, when they go back to Pacheco, look, there's Taz. You see him?
It looks like Taz, but it isn't Taz.
I know, but she's got a guy that looks like Taz in her corner. Anyways, I think Larissa Pacheco may have pulled this one off. This is insane. Kayla Harrison, undefeated, crushing the competition in the PFL. And this could be her first pro loss. 15-0. 15-0 coming into this fight.
Stats. It's tight. I don't know.
Gold medalist in the Olympic Games in judo in 2012 and 2016 for the U.S. Kayla Harrison is a highly decorated combat sports athlete.
It looks like she got tired in the later rounds. That's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Pacheco just wouldn't go away. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they score here for this fight. Pacheco and Harrison, it's the main event of the PFL. I know we switched gears from pro wrestling to MMA, but big night in MMA. I'll give you the result here of the Harrison-Pacheco fight in a minute. They're going to read the scores. If Kayla Harrison loses here, it'll be a massive upset. Like I said, minus 800 going into this fight. That's an 8-1 favorite. That's big. That's big.
I wouldn't be surprised. Split decision, maybe.
I don't know. Well, they're going with the, I don't know, unofficial scorecards seem to have Harrison winning, but we'll see. Olivier Aubin-Mercier, by the way, Montreal fighter, a guy from right here. He won $1 million tonight by knocking out Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat. Oh,
Boom.
shit, Pacheco won. Oh, my God. Wow. Wow.
She just won $1 million.
Larissa Pacheco wins $1 million. She wins the PFL Women's Lightweight Tournament, beats Kayla Harrison, shocks the MMA world. Wow. Pacheco gets the decision. Pacheco is the PFL champ. Pacheco gets $1 million check. And Pacheco comes in as a huge underdog and beats Kayla Harrison. You gotta love MMA. Fuck, I love this sport. You never know. Wow. Wow. Harrison was not supposed to lose here tonight. That was not supposed to happen. And that's the beauty of MMA. Just because it's not supposed to happen doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Larissa Pacheco, 18-4, comes into this one. She had lost to Kayla Harrison back in 2019 by unanimous decision. Lost to Kayla Harrison actually twice in 2019 by decision. Once in May and then again in December. Avenges those losses, comes back, and gets a decision over Kayla Harrison here tonight. Wow. Unanimous decision, 48-47, 48-47, 48-47. That's 3 rounds to 2 on all 3 judges' scorecards. Amazing. Incredible. Shocker. That's a big shocker. Not a shocker was Olivier Aubin-Mercier. He came in as the favorite. Big favorite, actually, minus 450. And he won. The Canadian gangster from right here in Montreal. Well, St. Bruno, but he trains in Montreal. I think he lives in Montreal. He's a good man. Friend of the show. He knocked out Stevie Ray in the second round, becomes the PFL lightweight champion, and wins $1 million check of his own. So, massive congratulations go out to the Canadian gangster, Olivier Aubin-Mercier. Great guy. Has been working hard for this for his whole life. And it's very well deserved. I was very happy to see him win tonight. Very pleased for him, for his whole team, for his coaches. I saw Michael Dufour in his corner. I saw Richard Ho, Faraz Zahabi. So shout out to especially Richard Ho, I know, who's been with Olivier since the beginning in his MMA journey. All the guys over at H2O, Richard, Mr. Dufour, and Olivier, and everybody else that was a part of this journey. Just a huge congratulations from the whole Ringside Report team. We're very happy for you. All of us just thrilled to see Olivier not only win a big fight, win a championship, but win $1 million US. So it's pretty good. It's not Canadian. It's American money he's winning, so that's nice. I think he has to get taxed or whatever, but I'm telling you, it's a good chunk of change. So amazing, man. Amazing. Like, to see that guy win $1 million check on TV is very cool. Very cool. So big congratulations to Olivier Aubin. Honestly, very nice guy. So well deserved. Beautiful to see.
You had him in studio once.
Yep. He came in studio one time, I think, only. We've had him on the show numerous times. Now that he's a millionaire, we'll see if he calls us back, but we'd love to have him on again. Great guy.
I didn't see AJ there, so that's not a good sign for us.
Well, I'm sure we'll try and we'll get Olivier on the show at some point in the future. Maybe not the near future though, because I think he's got some money to spend. You know, he's got things to do. This guy just won $1 million. I'm gonna give him some time. He's been training too. It's been a long journey. I saw Olivier Aubin last winter when I was sledding at my local park with my son. He was doing some snowboarding at the same park, just a city park in Montreal. Nice. You know, but it's nice to see. You know, he's a local guy. His gym is in my neighborhood. He's a neighborhood guy. You know, I see him around at the park. And now he just won $1 million fighting. It's nice, you know? It's a nice local story. His coach is my coach's brother, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, big shout out to Olivier and to Richard Ho and the whole team, Faraz. I saw George St. Pierre was there too. GSP was there. He's a training partner of Olivier's and a friend of Olivier's. So really nice to see George there for the big moment for Olivier. And the first thing Olivier said when he was given the microphone, I don't know if you know, John, but as soon as he won, you know, they interview him after the fight, right? And he goes, "Quebec is back, tabarnak!" That was the first thing he said, which I thought was great. Quebec is back.
So you tweeted
tabarnak.
that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a hell of a quote. And then he also ended his interview by saying, you know, PFL, come to Montreal, come to Quebec, Quebec City, Montreal, whatever, just come to Quebec, do a show in Quebec. We need a big show. I mean, he didn't say why, but the UFC doesn't really come to Montreal anymore. So, hey, PFL, come to Montreal. And also, there's a lot of great Montreal fighters. How about signing some guys and, you know, helping the Montreal talent? So the Canadian gangster, the Quebec Kid, as he used to be called, really, in his time where he's on top, showing who he really is, taking care of his friends, taking care of his people, and taking care of, you know, the Quebec MMA community, which is just awesome. You know, like, he knows that the hopes of Quebec MMA were on his shoulders tonight, and he represented very well, and then he promoted Quebec MMA and shouted out Quebec MMA, and I thought that was just beautiful, you know? It wasn't about him in the moment. It wasn't about the money. It was about, you know, representing for our people here in this province, which I think is beautiful. So, shout out to Olivier. Thank you for doing it. Congratulations. You are the fucking man. And what a fucking right hook. Holy shit. Knocked him out clean. And that's not something Olivier does. I think Olivier even said, like, that's the first time I knocked somebody out like that in my career. It was pretty amazing. I've never seen him do that before. Right hook, down. Kill shot. Boom. They're showing a replay of it there, John. You see it? Right hook.
It says the knockout of the night.
Oh, yeah, that's knockout of the night. It was amazing. One right hook put Stevie Ray out, second round. Boom! What a performance. I mean, unbelievable. Big congratulations to Olivier Aubin-Mercier. What a guy. How happy he is, too. It's genuine happiness. It's really nice to see. It's really nice to see. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
So AJ was making a comment. You should get him to call in. I'm sure AJ will have a lot to say.
No, I'm good on AJ. I don't want him to call in. The show's over. I don't need AJ. At Rampage tonight, FTR beat the Top Flight. Darby Allin beat a guy called Anthony Henry, whoever that is. And it was Roosh and the Butcher and the Blade against Johnny Hungy, Alex Reynolds, and 10. Except 10 didn't show up until later. And then 10 attacked Johnny Hungy and Alex Reynolds, and he turned his back on the Dark Order. They attacked Uno, too. So 10 has now joined Roosh and the Butcher and the Blade, and I guess Andrade. Isn't Andrade the leader of this group?
But he's suspended, though, because of what happened with Sammy.
For how long?
I don't know. Like, maybe they'll release him. I don't know. Like, let's wait and see if he ever comes back.
4 or 5 weeks, no?
Well, you know, suspensions can take a while. But, like, I don't know about you, but this, to me, was like the burial of the Dark Order. Because, like, not only are you putting them in a 3-on-2 handicap match where they're pretty much getting destroyed, but then their partner comes out and then beats them? Like, what the heck is that? And, like, you can't find the guy, but you have Uno who's there. Like, Uno can't replace him during the match? No, Uno's got to, like, look for him in the meantime? Like, man, this made the Dark Order look like garbage.
Yeah.
The only saving grace was that whole, like, you know, he took the mask off and, like, -1 was, like, all crying. Like, that was fantastic. I like seeing little kids cry. That's good stuff, but that was the only good part.
That's because you don't have kids. I get enough of that at home. I don't need that on TV.
Yeah, you see it all the time. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
something great.
unnecessary. You're a sick bastard, by the way. I just, I don't know, 10 turning his back on the Dark Order. It's disappointing. I'd like to see them do something more with Johnny Hungy. They clearly will never do it.
I think the Dark Order is done. I don't know about you. Like,
What happened to Stu Grayson? I thought he came back.
I think that was just an appearance, being like, and him being like, "Oh, I'm here with you guys, but I'm here in spirit," kind of thing. Like,
Oh,
that's what I think that meant. Because we were in Toronto, right? So I think he was just in the area.
okay. Well, can't Hangman come back and help him?
I think he's hurt too, if I'm not forgetting about the
Yeah.
concussion that he took. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Is he okay? I haven't heard jack shit about him since he got concussed. It's worrisome.
Well, him, Adam Cole, like concussions can take a while.
Yeah, but I'm really concerned about Hangman.
Well, I'd be concerned about both those guys because, like, Cole, it's been a long time, and Hangman, that looked pretty serious. Like, when do you ever see a match just stop?
I'm just a bigger
Like, it
fan of
rarely.
Hangman. I'm just a really big Hangman fan. Like, I think Adam Cole's fine and all, but Hangman, Hangman.
Well,
Future.
I think with an injury that serious, you take as much time as you need.
Well,
Because
that's it, but I'm
that
worried. Like,
looked bad.
what does this mean? How much time does he need? Will he ever come back? Concussions are fickle. You never know.
Right.
So I'm really worried about Hangman. And the fact that we've heard nothing worries me even more. So, I don't know. I've seen bad things happen because of concussions. Bryan Danielson had to retire. He will be wrestling, though, on Dynamite against Dax Wheeler, which should be pretty good.
Dax Harwood, but yeah.
Oh, right. What's his name? Dax Wheeler. Wait, Wheeler.
Cash Wheeler.
Cash
And
Wheeler.
Dax Harwood.
Dax Harwood. Right. Jeffrey Harwood. Okay. So it'll be Dax Harwood and Wheeler Utah. No. Dax Harwood and Wheeler Cassidy. No. Brian Harwood and Dax Wheeler against each other for the
This is what kids
Dax
do to you. They mess you up
Championship
too
of the
much.
world. Yeah, I don't know what anybody's name is. It doesn't matter what his name is, John. Bald Revival. Okay? Not Hair Revival. Bald Revival will wrestle Bryan Danielson on Dynamite. All right? You keep making me know their last names, John. I'm just going to call them Bald and Hair like I used to. Easier that way. Bald Revival or Hair Revival. It's Bald Revival. I think people like him more. Bald Revival versus Bryan Danielson. Okay? Dynamite. Watch it or don't. What do I care? Watch our show. It's the most important. It's the Ringside Report Network. Join.ringsidereport.net. Join.ringsidereport.net. Donate.ringsidereport.net if you haven't already. And subscribe to the channel. Are you not a subscriber? What are you doing? Are you watching this show and you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel? I'm sorely disappointed if you've done that. I would really appreciate you subscribing. Harold Schneider super chatted. He's the super chat leader of the night. Thank you, Harold. Harold is also a member over at join.ringsidereport.net, as is Jason Pete. Shout out to Harold. Shout out to Jason. Thanks for tuning in here tonight and joining us on the chat. Good to see you guys watching us live. Jason out in Mexico. Harold in Montreal. Johnny North also in Montreal. When is your next match? When can people see you in the ring? I believe there's one coming up soon.
December 4th, so not this Sunday, but next Sunday.
Ooh. Next Sunday.
Yeah, in Laval.
Wow.
Should be pretty good. I don't if you've been checking my Twitter, there's been a couple of promos airing about the match.
Yes.
My manager, Shane Pinto, commented about it, and then my opponent, Nick McHaggis, also commented about it. Thought very interesting, both sides. Shane obviously putting me over. Nick McHaggis also putting me over and seemed to have more of an issue with my manager than me. So
Yeah.
that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see if we'll get that all sorted out come the match. We'll see what happens.
I think he knows what's good for him, and he doesn't want to say anything mean about Johnny North because Johnny North will attack you. You know, he's going to be in the match with you, John, and he doesn't want to say anything mean. But the manager, what's the manager going to do? You got to, you know, mind your P's and Q's when you're talking about Big Johnny, especially when you're going to face him in the ring. Guy's a monster.
Well, because he took offense to the fact that Shane said that he'd been in the business 15 years, but he'd actually been in the business for 21 years. So he took offense to that. But he needs to understand that, you know, younger people, you know, their generation, they don't really care about facts. It's more about, like, you know, being roughly around the truth. Because they don't really care about being actually factual. Like,
yeah,
it's just, you know, rough estimates. They're good with that.
I saw a Simpsons recently where Homer said, Marge, the truth is different these days. It's more like a hunch that you're willing to die for. That's really what it is. A very apt description of the modern truth. Everybody has their own truth. Let me speak my truth. Motherfucker. There's only one truth. There's only one what is, you know. Everybody has their own set of facts, right? There's AJ. AJ's got his own set of facts. And if you counter them with actual facts, if you counter AJ's facts with real facts, he will claim that they are not real facts, or he has to check up on them, or whatever, you know? And that is...
Check the feeds.
Check the feeds. And that is the society that we are living in today. Even when confronted with absolute truths and facts that are 100% proven, many of us will still deny and posture and reject, even though they are wrong. But we are correct, John. All right? If I hear an idea that makes a lot of sense, I'll go with it. But it better make a lot of sense. I mean, not every idea. I mean, take it easy. I'm going to go through that shit like with a fine-tooth comb. All right, John, we're done. I'm done. We did the promo for your match. We talked about things, and we're coming back tomorrow for Survivor Series, right? So what the hell? Why are we still here? True.
And we squashed your Matt Hardy beef. That's all good now.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Shut up, AJ. I'll be back tomorrow night, right after Survivor Series, with Johnny and my brother. We're going to do the pay-per-view roundtable deal. And we'll have a good time right after WWE Survivor Series right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.